Hello, and welcome to Mental Health Matters. I'm your host, Liz Lang. Each week on this podcast, we will break down various aspects of mental health. We are so excited you're here and hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hey guys, Liz Lang here with Jeremiah and Selina Woodruff, and we also have a special guest that we are very excited about. Her name is Melissa, and today we are actually going to have a live coaching session. So we really appreciate Melissa taking the time to do this. And our main focus for today is going to be impulsivity in tweens and teens is going to kind of be the main focus. And we're going to give Melissa some help with an issue that she is having one of her children. So before we do that, I have this week's parenting moment, and I'm just going to call it a learning experience. So it is back to school season for us here in Indiana. We go back to school really early. And so this was my kids' first week back to school, and my oldest started junior high. And so we had the orientation and we got to go to the school and look at all of their classes. And they had schedules printed out for us. And kind of in my excitement, I just kind of took control, and I had the schedule, I had the map, and I'm helping her find all of her classes. And I'm really excited about it. She's really excited. And then in my head, it dawned on me, I should have let her do this. And not that that's really a big deal, but again, it was just kind of this afterthought of, again, a parent learning experience, because I should have let her do it. I should have let her figure it out herself. That would have been a great opportunity. And a lot of it was I was excited for her. And so, that's kind of why I just took over. But, we can find lots of little ways to help our kids gain independence by, letting them figure things out herself, because that was a really great low risk situation for her to learn on her own. And if she did need help, I would be there.
I love it, Liz. It reminds me of the parent who buys the Lego set for their kid for Christmas and then puts it together for them, right? And I can laugh about that because I was that parent for quite some time. And we're more excited than they are sometimes.
Yeah.
But a great learning opportunity for you, and certainly a great opportunity to recognize that, hey, I could have let her be a little bit more independent here and me not be quite as involved as I was.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to give you some grace. For how many years have you been helping and guiding and controlling what she's doing? So it's a hard switch to switch over to that, but it's awesome that you recognized and you're learning how you can change and help make that better.
Which is parenting. So,
yep.
And you're totally right, because she's 12, and for 12 years, I've been doing a lot of things for her and giving her a lot of guidance and direction. Okay, so on to this week's topic. And as you guys may have heard a little bit, our guest Melissa also has another special guest. She has a very cute, squishy little baby with her. So if you hear some extra noises, that's just a really cute baby that she is taking care of. And as you guys are all aware, our podcast is all about kids and families. So it is appropriate that there would be a baby on this podcast, particularly when we have a very busy mama on here who is, being a mom. So I am going to go ahead and let Jeremiah and Selina take over from here, and they are going to give Melissa some coaching.
All right, Melissa, thank you for taking your time. We're so glad to have you. Do you want to start off and maybe just give a little background about what you're experiencing?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to be here. So my daughter, one of my daughters, she is 12 years old and also just about to start middle school, junior high in a few weeks here when our summer break comes to an end, which is its whole other topic of stress and nerves and adventure as well.
Okay, part two then, Melissa. Part two.
Part two.
Part two.
Part two. Do we survive middle school? But so she's my oldest. And to start with, she has pretty strong ADHD is what we tell people. She's under the care of a wonderful psychiatrist whom whenever a friend of mine needs psychiatric help for one of their kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to go see this psychiatrist. She's absolutely wonderful. She treats my oldest daughter, and then she also treats my second oldest, also for his ADHD, but we say his ADHD looks very different from hers. Hers is much more easily seen, her ADHD, and then she also, as well, has diagnosed anxiety. And so with her ADHD, we experience quite a bit of friction and difficulty in just normal everyday life, a lot of executive functioning struggles, and we're learning normal developmental delays within growing with ADHD. She experiences quite a lot of difficulty with impulsivity control, especially when you look at her age. And while she looks very much like a normal 12-year-old kid, then you get to know her a bit more, and then you see like, okay, that's unusual that she'll still put random objects in her mouth because she's sensory seeking, or she has a very difficult time with stopping herself from breaking things. We tell her she's going to be an amazing inventor someday. She's very creative. She tells me it's not trash, and she has this collection of treasures. And I'm like, we need to throw away this trash. And she's like, it's not trash. I'm doing this with it. So someday when executive functioning comes a little bit more easily, she'll be a very creative inventor or writer, storyteller. But in the meantime, it is pretty difficult to do everyday normal life. But in particular, some of the deepest struggles that we have is with lying, how readily she turns to lying. And I've learned that with ADHD and neurodiversity, kids who struggle a lot with lying, it stems from, well, they already feel guilty, and it's more easy to avoid those difficult feelings of feeling guilty and rather avoid it. And we say her avoidance runs strong with her, of being quick to lie to avoid whatever she was asked to do that she doesn't want to do, or what she did do that she shouldn't have done. And we have lots of talks within our family of what that does to a relationship and how that hurts a relationship with trust. We talk about like, okay, we're about to do this X thing. What is this? A trust opportunity. Yes, it's a trust opportunity that we can try to see that, yes, you can handle this situation in someone's house and not steal something or not put something in your mouth that you shouldn't have and then lie about it. But it is an ongoing source of difficulty for many years.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like a busy house. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of pressure put on you and the whole family to manage those things. And it does sound like with the ADHD, it's probably some pretty normal delays in development. While we think that she shouldn't act that way because 12-year-olds shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, it very well could be quite normal for her based on where she's at developmentally with some of the delays that come along with ADHD. And I often like to say that ADHD could be her superpower in life. It could be such a positive thing. It's going to be challenging for mom and dad, for sure. And it's going to be challenging for her. But she could use that to her advantage as she begins to develop more of that executive function and move past some of these struggles that you're experiencing today.
Yes, we try to have a not only negative narrative about what ADHD, how it impacts her life and the whole family. Really, I mean, you can't live with a person without feeling affected by them. And she does have 5 younger siblings, so there is always a lot going on in our home and with that as well. But I do love the phrase that ADHD can be a superpower, but it can definitely be really hard to actually feel that in the day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah, my hat's off to you. I commend you for the work that you're doing as a parent, because for those of you who haven't, of our listeners who haven't worked with individuals that struggle with ADHD, it's never turned off, right?
No.
This is from waking to sleeping and sometimes through the night.
And sometimes interrupted that sleep. Yes.
Yeah, often interrupts the sleep, right? So, man, that's really tough. And today we really hope to maybe give you some tools and some different ways of thinking about some of these struggles that you're dealing with to help you in strengthening your relationship with her, to help you in managing some of those difficulties and challenges. And I think one of the big keys here is that she is getting that professional help, because that's not something that we can just kind of play along with as parents. We really want to make sure that if medication is needed, we're getting the medication from psychiatrists or doctors. And I would also encourage parents often in these kinds of cases to make sure that that child has opportunity to see a counselor.
Absolutely.
If that's possible for you. And so you're doing all these great things, and it's wonderful. And today is just another step in the right direction, I think, for you.
Yeah. To second what you were saying, our family, we have a lot of mental health, variety of things going on within our household. And we are huge advocates for addressing mental health as a very real and absolutely not shameful thing, but just a real part of life, and seeking for sure professional medical help for these real things, that it's not pretend, oh, it's all in your head. Well, it is in your mind and in your body, but it absolutely is absolutely real. We have done a variety of therapy. Wonderful therapists, psychiatrists are absolutely crucial to these complicated situations.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. I'm going to validate you. This is hard.
Oh,
This is
thank
hard
you.
every day,
It is
all
so
day
hard.
long. Hey, let's say it. It's hard. It's hard.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
that's
you so
okay.
much.
I'm feeling like, hey, episode 3 on this too. Let's validate you and let's give you some praise, and you can every day tell yourself how awesome you are and what a great job you're doing. Let's focus on that.
I see how you guys are related to Liz, because Liz does that for me all the time.
She is awesome, right? No, but really, girl, every night you better stand in front of that mirror and be like, dang, I am awesome. Look at me. Did it again.
I feel like
Did
laying
it
down
again.
in front of the mirror and being
Okay. Okay, you can lay down. You can lay down. And we're just going to talk about all the good things, like all the bad things too, right? Like, man, I lost it there. I lost it there.
yes.
But I know why I did. I know why I did. And you know what?
Yep.
Get up tomorrow. You're a great person.
It's pretty frustrating when I do it right. And it's like, oh, I just handled that situation perfectly, between validating and deflecting and redirecting and comforting. Like I just nailed that moment. And then we all just move on this smooth sailing ship. And I'm like looking around like, where's my A+ pat on the back? Like I really got that situation.
Yourself, girl, yourself.
Because
you're like,
it is
Melissa,
not like that
job.
every time. Gosh, it's
well,
not
what?
like that every time.
Yeah, because you're like a human being, so you like get hungry and tired, and you have your own emotions too.
Overwhelmed, overstimulated. Yep.
Well,
sure.
Keep validating yourself and being your own best friend and telling yourself how awesome that is. But so back to what we're here for.
Yeah. Back to my child. Yep.
I hope that if I say this is exciting and empowering for you, and not like, oh man, it's me, not somebody else. But you probably already are aware, as your daughter's getting older, that you can't control somebody else.
Gosh, that's hard to deal with.
Oh, sorry.
It is.
Sorry, you were hoping for us to tell you how to control her, huh?
Oh, I have already accepted that's not possible, but if only.
Good. The sooner you can work on that and get past that and realize in your mind that you can't control somebody else. But the good news is you can control yourself. So if you're
try to.
Well, yes, that too. We're all still trying to control ourselves.
I mean, it's the joke of I'm going to yell at the kids that they need to stop yelling, like trying to model the behavior of self-control while teaching the child self-control, like works every time.
Right. You're like, stop yelling as you're yelling. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I hope that you can find good news in realizing that you can only control yourself and you can control what you're experiencing. So even though these outside things that other people are doing, and this applies not just to this daughter, but husband and other kids and mother-in-laws, that you can control and have the experience that you want within yourself and within your own mind. We believe that your thoughts are what's creating your result. So your experience. So what you're thinking about the situation is what is going to be creating the result that you are having in that situation. So if you want to start by sharing maybe just one example or one scenario, we can break it down from there.
Okay, yeah, like the many times that she has taken some little thing, some little treasure that she's broken off of something else at someone else's house. Like we've tried to dissect her for years, and like that's why we see the layers of, okay, this more surface level is the lying, and then it layer by layer peels back to impulsivity and self-control and just completely failing in self-control and impulsivity, not thinking through the ramifications of how that affects her siblings, how that affects her trust with her dad and I, how that affects her trust with her grandparents, who are much more patient because they don't live with her, but it still nonetheless affects and hurts the relationships. But she doesn't think that far ahead in the moment of
she doesn't have the capacity.
The impulsivity.
Yeah, she doesn't have the capacity to think through that yet. Will.
Me personally trying to accept that there is quite a bit of developmental delay, and my learning of that it's okay for an ADHD child to be developmentally delayed in whatever X topic. That is normal, and just trying to accept that for myself, to give her that grace, takes a lot for me.
So Melissa, tell us a situation that you've had recently.
Okay. So I'm going to be specific while also being general because it just all weaves back and forth, and we've replayed these types of situations so many times throughout my daughter's years of, now she's turned 12. So say, for example, we will go and visit some family. We are abundantly blessed that we have a great deal of family nearby, and we love visiting them often. However, we've learned that it is very difficult with my daughter, that will just go into the house and my several children will all spread out and the adults will be talking. Then we'll be coming home, and I have created this sixth sense of when she's hiding something. It's always surprising to me how good I am at it. Just in her body language, just the nuance. I'll know that she'll be hiding something and she'll be upset with me. Stop being so suspicious. And I counter with, you've trained me to be this suspicious. So it'll come to light that she has some little toy or candy that she's taken from a family member's house that is definitely not hers. It's more difficult when it's an actual toy or something that she's broken off of someone else's thing at their house. And it'll come to light that she did, in fact, take something. She will then concoct a partial truth story, most lie, and it'll kind of like weave back and forth on the spectrum of like mostly lie, some truth, and I'll push back and like, okay, now it's like a half-ish truth, half lie, push back and I'm like, okay, for real, take responsibility, own what you did, say, I lied about stealing this from so-and-so's house, and how does that affect the relationships? It breaks trust. Yes, it hurts trust. It hurts that we can't always just carry on with our business and believe everything that you say to us in the moment of what's going on. And it's painful for her. It's painful for her dad and I. It's painful for her siblings who live with her every day. And then trying to model that self-control within myself of, we've done this so many times that it's so maddening that we've done this so many times that it's so easy to become irritated and impatient in the moment. And so I'm losing control of myself while discussing the root source of a lack of control within her while I'm getting upset about it. It's a lot.
Interesting, right? Isn't that how it goes? Okay.
And it is a lot.
It is a lot.
That is a lot to deal with.
All right. I'm going to work through what we call the model. And so it starts with circumstance, thought, feeling, action, result. And I want to show how your thought is creating your result. So circumstance is what we start with. And you give me a lot of information, and I'm going to just break it down to like one simple sentence. And you can tell me if you agree or disagree, and that's fine too. But we're going to break it down to one simple truth. Okay. It can't be like an opinion, or it can't be a thought. It has to be like proven in the court of law.
Okay.
So we're going to just make it real simple that daughter took candy from grandma's house. We're going to stay just right there. daughter took candy from grandma's house. Okay, truth, right? She took it. She
Truth.
Okay, truth. She took it. Okay, I want you to tell me just one simple thought. When she took the candy and you realized she took the candy, what was your thought?
You did it again?
Mm.
Because it's been done so many times.
Okay. So when you think you did it again, what do you feel? Just like a one word?
Frustration, disappointment.
Okay. And then how did you act? What was your action?
It depends. Usually it is, okay, we need to talk about this right now.
Okay.
So is the action then like you have maybe a heated conversation with her or an uncomfortable conversation with her?
Uncomfortable conversation is the most on point. Sometimes for sure we do. When I say we, I mean my husband and I, we lose our cool and we're not handling it in a calm, cool, and collected, let's address the issue, but we're upset about it. And that's definitely affecting the situation. We try more often than not to, okay, from past experience, you being my daughter, from past experience that this is not an acceptable behavior. We don't like this behavior. You're feeling uncomfortable with this behavior. You want to avoid the pain of this situation. We're feeling frustrated that we have to address this again, and the disappointment within that as well.
So what would you say your result from that is? What
She'll be saying, okay, can we move on from this? Or if we have shifted our parenting style within the last few years from everything has a consequence to let's teach within the moment. We learn that to discipline means to teach, and consequences are not for everything. Consequences are as needed.
Your results. So do you say she's just like, hey, whatever, say what you got to say. Let's move on.
She'll also be very apologetic. She wants an apology to fix it. And so she'll apologize and apologize. She'll say awful things about herself, that I'm just so stupid. I can't do this. And she'll want to run away from it or say hurtful things about herself that we're like, no.
So the result is a decreased self-esteem. The results are a decreased self-esteem for her. What are the results for you and your husband?
Frustration that we just keep doing this over and over and over and over again, and profound worry. And we tell her that, like, we are worried about you. We're concerned for you and your future relationships, your current relationships. We love you and we care about you, and we're concerned about this because we love you. We've repeated that many times because we see that then she turns it inward and it really is damaging her self-worth. And that's so not okay.
Yeah. So that just adds to more worry and frustration for you, right? And from what I gather from what you're saying, your result is the same thing all over again. And
here we go again.
And
just
here we
on
have
repeat.
the same result, right? And so from what I'm getting from you is that you don't like your results. You don't like how you're feeling. You don't like what you're experiencing in those moments. Is that correct?
Yeah, if there is growth happening, like little bit by little bit, my husband and I were getting better at being responsive instead of reactive. Not perfect whatsoever, not at all. But we are getting better and better at being parents and in the moment addressing things, trying to be more calm. But with our daughter's behavior, if there is growth, it's very slow and not proportional to her aging and growing in society.
And that's okay because you can't change that and you can't control that. So my question to you is, you're at grandma's house, you get in the car and you realize your daughter took candy without asking. How do you want to feel about that?
Try to do it as calmly as possible. Okay. Try to say, that wasn't yours. That wasn't yours. What can you do next time? That's a frequent question that we fire back at our children of when they've done whatever thing that they shouldn't have done, of how could you have handled that next time? We'll ask for it. Yeah. And remember that this isn't our space. This is their space, and that we need to respect that.
Awesome. Okay. So you want to be calm and you want to feel in control. Do you want to have connection with your daughter?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a source of great worry for years that far too often the ratio between positivity and negativity way too often is too heavily skewed towards negativity in interaction with my daughter. And so very intentionally try to look for, my mom has taught me, to try to look for when a child is doing something appropriately or correctly, to verbally praise that and point it out that, hey, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing it when you were asked to do that, and you did that well. But that ratio between positivity and negativity is another deep source of worry.
Yeah. That's great advice from Mom. Okay, so we're in this situation and you get in the car and you realize, because you just have that mother instinct, you said she took it. So and you want to be calm and you want to connect with your daughter. And you can also be okay that it's not okay, right? So if I want you to think you're being calm, you want to connect with your daughter, you're still not okay with it. What do you think a thought would be that you would have in that moment?
Try to address this calmly and as quickly as possible, to not jump into lecture mode, which I'm really good at lecturing.
We usually are.
Well, we have a lot of good wisdom and advice. We need to spew it onto our children.
I can teach you so much if you'll sit down and listen.
If you would just listen to me, I know. Hey, I did hear something that I'm like, okay, truth. It's kind of like the sense of I've experienced all these bad things, so I'm trying to help and save you from experiencing these things. But you know what? They have to learn for themselves, is what I've learned.
Yes.
So, okay, I want to get to a place that we can think of an exact thought that you would be thinking.
The exact thought would be, not again. Here we are again.
You're saying that you don't want that thought, correct?
You want the result that thought brought. And so what we're looking at here, Melissa, is we're looking for a thought that you could accept and believe that is different than what you have done in the past.
Oh, I see.
So we want a new thought to replace that thought with.
Yes. How can I change my personal narrative when she inevitably does another undesirable? Okay.
Yes, because the thought you did it again is creating the results that you don't want. That's creating the disconnect. That's creating the worry, the frustration, the disappointment.
Yeah.
That's my number one goal here, to help you realize that the thought you did it again, frustrated, disappointment, disconnect, not calm, that's what's creating that for you. The thought you did it again.
Okay.
So I want to challenge that thought and help you to get to a thought that would help you to create being calm and connecting with your daughter.
How about
I can offer you some thoughts? Okay, go ahead.
How about something that gives me comfort in the moment when I'm trying to feel better about this complexity of neurodivergent struggles is, she will eventually grow out of this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What does that bring for you?
That gives me hope that she won't always struggle with this. She won't always immediately lie.
The feeling is hope at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I love that. See, and it's interesting because I can offer you some other thoughts, but you might be like, no, it still is
I'm curious what you're...
Okay. Well, I want to challenge. I want to ask you this question. What if you just expect her to do it?
There is that. But it does feel pessimistic, but also realistic.
Well, I think you could change the tone of that, right? Because there's different tones of oh, of course she did it. I just expect her to do that, right? But then there's a tone of okay, this is where she's at in her development. This is what she needs.
I have a similar, way that my brain usually does that, of when I experience that is what I tell myself is, well, they're just kids. And within that concept has the feeling of acceptance. It's okay. It's developmentally normal for this situation, and rather than it being pessimistic. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And same thing, right? Because that could be said oh, they're just kids. Or it could be, they're just kids. They're learning. But to add on to that thought, she's lucky to have a mom that wants to teach her and help her.
That's very generous. I know that's true. Also at the same time, like, I struggle so much with dissecting how I did something wrong and going to bed upset with myself or over exploding over a situation because I was already overwhelmed, overstimulated with what was going on in my day. And then lo and behold, my children bring to me this scenario of how their big sister hurt them in some way again in their relationship. So I know there's truth of that, while so at the same time, it's hard for me to always remember that.
Your brain's fighting back on that one. Your brain's
Yeah.
fighting back. It's rejecting that one. And that's somewhere you can keep practicing and working on getting to that point, but validating yourself. And okay, I can change it to, she's lucky she has a mom that 50% of the time wants to help her.
I always want to help her. Yeah.
Okay.
She's lucky to have a family who is so aware of mental health and is so forward about it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
isn't that thought way more empowering? Way more empowering to help you than, oh, but I did this or I did this wrong, or why is this happening? This is so hard. This is so difficult. It truly is. But if you want to operate in a space that you want to feel calm and you want to feel confident, those are thoughts that are going to help you. But allowing yourself to be a human, that I'm overstimulated, I'm tired, I don't feel good, I'm dealing with my own stuff.
So many adult problems that our children are unaware of because we're very careful to keep it away from them.
Yeah. So give yourself some compassion with that. Like when your brain starts going to the, well, but you didn't, and you forgot to say that, and that's not who you want to be like, yeah, that was really hard because I'm dealing with my own things. I'm trying my hardest. You know what? I am like such a great mom for wanting. I like how you said you want to all the time, right? You're wanting to help them.
Yeah.
That's huge. Good for you. Like, give yourself a pat on the back and give yourself that validation and allow yourself to be a human being, because I know we constantly say 50-50 and then we say, oh, well, I'm striving for 80-20. I believe you're probably more at a 80-20. 80% of the time you're helping your kids and doing it right, and 20% you're learning too, and you're trying to figure it out and you're trying to do it right. And like, validate that you are wanting to do what's right for your kid. That's amazing. And you're wanting to learn and grow and help them the way that they need helped. Even being willing to be on this podcast and learn and share your own vulnerabilities, that's amazing.
Well, you've made me cry, Selina.
Oh.
And you've reminded me of
the
many personal therapy sessions that I've been in, and my two wonderful therapists that I've experienced, and that was the very same things that they've told me time after time.
Good. Hey, crying means you're alive. You know, when a baby's born, we want them to cry, right?
Yes.
Because that means they're alive. So I don't know if this is mean, but I'm glad you're crying. You're alive, Melissa. It means you care. You have feelings.
My husband can't cry because his tear ducts only produce a quarter of the tears that they're supposed to.
Guy.
He wishes he could.
Guy. We could get him some just like eye drops. Then we'll be like,
oh, he does. He has very, very fancy eye drops.
Well, Melissa, we appreciate your willingness to come and share such vulnerable things with us. And I know it's tough, and this is not an easy process. As you know, and as you've shared it, this is a complicated situation.
It's immensely complicated.
It really is. It's deep, and there's a lot of meaning and feeling behind it. And there's fears and hopes for the future and all of the things that go along with this. But the process here is that when we look at what these circumstances that we experience in life, and we look at the thoughts that we're having about it, our thoughts ultimately give us what our results are. And when we don't like the results of what's happening, we can look at what the thought is, and we can challenge that thought and replace it with something else that allows us to experience a different result. When we look at our relationships with anyone, whether that's with a spouse or a child, a different family member, friends, our relationships are made up of the thoughts we have about those individuals. And when the relationships aren't going in a way that we love or appreciate, we have to recognize we can't change them. You don't have the capacity to change what your daughter's doing. You have the capacity to help her and to teach her and to love her and to care about her. And you're doing amazing with all of those things. But you do have the capacity to change yourself, to change your thoughts, and to change your results. This isn't going to take away the struggles that your daughter's having. But if you can have more pleasant experiences, more connection with your daughter as you go through this process, more connection with your husband, developing more connection within the family, and finding ways to have thoughts that deepen that connection will be powerful. Of course, we're not going to be able to help you with everything. Hopefully some of the things that we've shared today can be helpful for you. And again, we're just super glad that you were willing to come on.
I really appreciate that. It reminds me of one very poignant personal counseling session that I had. My therapist, she pushed back at me quite a lot, and she just kept asking me, but what is your narrative about, at the time I was discussing difficulty with my spouse, and she's like, but what is your narrative? What are you telling yourself about him? Your narrative, it's what is shaping how you interact with him. And I really appreciate you reminding me of that and drawing that connection of it's the exact same thing with any of my children, especially my eldest daughter, and the many struggles that we have of, well, what is my narrative with her? And that absolutely affects then how I handle whatever situation she brings before me.
Well, and it's challenging, I think, because when we try and look at it this way, we look at a circumstance, what we think about that, what feeling we experience, what our action is, and then finally our result. That can often happen in a split second. And so we don't recognize that there was a thought that occurred, that created the feeling that we experienced, and then the action that we took, which created our result. It happens so quickly. What we need to do is kind of slow down and analyze those situations and go, okay, well, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? And then what did I do? What was the final result of that? And when we start to do that, we're going to do a little bit better at recognizing like, oh, I don't love this thought because I don't love what's going on here. What can I think differently about this situation? Maybe my daughter needs to go through this struggle to become the most amazing inventor in the whole wide world. Maybe she needs this in her life. As hard and painful as it may be, and even as damaging as it can be to relationships, maybe this is what she needs in her life. And that's okay. And you're the perfect mom for her to do those things and to teach her those things and to love her through these struggles and trials that you guys are experiencing.
I do love that hope, that feeling. It is very difficult to see that, but I love the feeling of hope within that.
Yeah. So along with that narrative, you're saying I would take time to question some of your thoughts towards her or what you're thinking and see how that is creating results for you. I'm afraid your brain's really going to yell at me, but why is this a problem?
Because that's not an okay way to live in society.
Right? You have a manual that says 12-year-old girls do this. So you have a story or a manual for your daughter of what she should and shouldn't be doing. So you can pick and choose and keep whatever thoughts and narrative and story and manual you want for your daughter. Absolutely. But if you want to get to a place of peace and confidence for yourself, I would spend time questioning some of those. Like, why is this a problem? Why do I think this is a problem? And I don't mean it in a critical way, but a curiosity way. Like, where did I come up with this? Why do I think that this is what it needs to be? So get curious in why you have that story. And you can choose it, and you can choose whatever story you want to believe with that, right?
And I don't think Selina's saying that that's wrong to have that story.
It's not wrong.
We're just analyzing and being
for you
curious about you and the narrative that you have about this story with your daughter.
And what it says about myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, because what are you making it mean about you?
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a story that 12-year-old girls don't steal candy from grandma's house. You're welcome to choose that story, but I want you to understand why or question, could it be something else? What if I just said like, hey, every 12-year-old girl should steal candy from their grandma's house 100 times, and that's going to make them a good inventor. Then you'd be like, oh, let's do it. let's do it. Steal some more stuff. Go steal more stuff from grandma's house. Right?
That's interesting.
But because you have a story that says 12-year-old girls don't steal stuff from other people's houses, that's what's creating some of this conflict for you, because you want to change that, but you can't change it because you're still stealing, right?
Yeah.
So I am not at all telling you to change your values and your beliefs, but I think it helps loosen it up when you start questioning, like, why do I think 12-year-olds should not steal?
I'm just trying to digest that.
Yeah, no,
It's a lot to
absolutely.
digest.
I know. I'm just saying there's just so much more, and I want to just cram it all in, but I need to just give you this.
I get that feeling.
You need to have this, and I want you to just go about your day, and I want you to really think, like, when you're experiencing something, like, what am I thinking? Because that's what's creating this for me, right? And just being aware of those things. And I think it will just blow your mind, like realizing, so this is a problem with your daughter because you think it's a problem.
So then from that point, yes, I can only control myself, absolutely. But my job of mom of multiple children is also to be a mediator between my children of when she steals from her siblings and it hurt them. And I can with time, I know from personal experience, I can with time force myself to change my own personal narrative and to thereby then be far less reactionary when inevitably she steals something again or lies yet again or is chewing on Legos yet again. When it's harming someone else, how do I handle that?
Well, you obviously can intervene and you can teach and you can guide your daughter, of course. Like, that's your job and you're going to do that. I'm more talking about what you're experiencing personally.
Yeah.
About those situations, right? I truly believe with the work, if you did this work, and I also help you understand, you have been thinking this way for how many years?
Forever.
Forever. You have been thinking this way forever, right? And so tomorrow, when you she steals something and then you go through the lecture and then you're like, oh my gosh, they taught me. Why am I doing this? You have to realize that your brain has been operating on this function, right? And so now you're trying to change that. And it's going to take time. It's going to take you time and practice. If you want to get really good at it, say, hey, let's go and get lots of opportunities, steal lots of stuff so I can work on this.
Oh, it's another opportunity for me to fix my own thought process. Yeah.
Right. It's just giving you opportunities. I want to give caution. It's going to take you time to rewire and retrain your brain to be thinking in a different way. But yes, absolutely. Discipline your children, teach your children, do what you feel like you need to do as a mom. But I'm talking about what you're experiencing inside. Because when you're thinking, oh my gosh, she did it again, when is she going to learn? You're not feeling what you want to feel. But when you have that situation come up or she breaks somebody's toy or something, when you're thinking she won't always do this, you're going to be operating and teaching in a way different space than when you're frustrated and annoyed and disappointed. When you're like, okay, this is part of it. This is what she needs.
Well, one final thought as we wrap this up is that there's some interesting things happening here, Melissa. And one thing that I'm noticing and recognizing here is that you're concerned about how do I help use this kind of model that we've shared with you today when we're in the middle of a situation with my children, because I have this responsibility to mediate between them. What's really happening here is as you begin to change the way you think about things and the way you manage yourself, now you're modeling that for your own children. And you become that mediator through teaching them by example rather than by words. You are not going to teach your children very well by lecture. I promise you. I know hard
but it comes so naturally.
It's so easy to do.
We're so good at it.
But the things that you do, they will see. I promise you, they will see those things. And they will see a healthier, happier mom, the way she manages the conflicts and the struggles and challenges at home. and they will start to follow that and incorporate that into their own lives without knowing that that's what they're doing.
Well, and I see the very same pattern of what you're saying, but in the not healthy way of, I see my other children, especially my next two children that are older and more aware. I see now in my memory them modeling that same idea of, she did it again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so frustrated that she did it again. And that's what I've taught them.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's totally okay. We're going to make lots of mistakes as parents. We could have episodes for the next 10 years on the mistakes that Selina and I have made as parents.
He means himself, not me.
Yeah. Right. You're learning and you're growing. And that is the process of being a parent. You don't know it all. And now there's still plenty of opportunity for you to start making small, subtle changes, which will affect those other children, and they'll see those changes and they'll start to mimic and follow those behaviors.
Kids are
I really appreciate
resilient.
that.
Yeah, kids are amazingly resilient, and they pick up really quickly on new habits.
A much better thought to operate from would be, I'm doing exactly what my kids need me to do.
Oh, that's a hard one.
What if they did need to learn those hard lessons? What if they needed to learn the wrong way to do something and then change it? That'd be a good skill to have.
I struggle with that because
her brain is
so many other things that we could dive into, but I struggle with that one because of other personal experiences.
Yeah.
Well, with that, Melissa, thank you again for being on the show with us today and for sharing your story with us and our listeners. And hopefully there's some great things for you, Melissa, as well as our other listeners out there who can utilize those things. And if any of our other listeners would like to come on and do some live coaching with us, you're always welcome to do that. We're always excited to bring somebody on live. Just reach out. And I think, Liz, you'll have that information in the show notes on how to get a hold of us and things like that.
Correct, I will. And I also want to add in conclusion, Melissa, you're not alone in this, and you're certainly not the only parent dealing with this. It's very easy to feel like, oh, I bet there's no other mom dealing with this. But the reality is there are probably a lot of moms dealing with this exact same situation. And another observation is clearly the connection is already there. And that was my first thought when she said, oh, I have this sixth sense. It's because, Melissa, you already have this connection with your daughter. And that's because of, well, parenting. Okay, so next week, we are going to get into self-care for parents, and we will see you all then. Have a question? How about a topic you'd like us to cover? Send us an email at mentalhealthpod21@gmail.com.